to Mr. UFC Vegas Fight Club TV. I am Kyle, your host. Welcome to the podcast and welcome to the prediction show. We're going to go over Fight Night 128, Barboza Lee, and we will get into our plays that we're going to have. We're going to talk about our best bet play, which currently right now for this year, we are 16 wins, 6 losses, plus 13.6 units. So if you've just been following along with that pick, you're doing pretty well. We're going to go over some other plays that we have and general, just going over the main card of the event. And before I get into the card and the picks, I want to remind everybody how we're going to be structuring this moving forward and continuing over the last couple cards, how we've been running it. So Wednesday and Thursday of every fight week, Wednesday or Thursday of every fight week, we're going to be posting our prediction show. So that is what this is. And then Friday, the day of the weigh-in, we will be posting our Let's Chat discussion area, and that will be for discussing all of the picks, predictions of everything that you guys have during the fight. So any predictions that you guys have, post them here, but during the event, a spot for us all to communicate will be the discussion area. So you'll be seeing that video posted tomorrow, and on the discussion area post, I will be also discussing in the video my hero parlay, and roughly 6 to 8 plays that we'll be having, and hopefully trying to hit it out of the ballpark on that. But this is mainly focused on where my main money is going to be placed for straight bets. And here we'll have 3 plays, half a unit play, which is really going to be my more of a value play, something that I'm not as confident in, but I like where the odds are. Our 1 unit play is going to be something, again, that I'm confident in, but I feel pretty good about. And just doing 1 unit. And my best bet is always going to be the one that I suggest that you guys play and that you guys follow along. So that's going to be my main one. That's why I keep the record for that one, because that's really where I suggest other people place their money on as well. But again, I let you know all of my plays, and my most confident one is the best bet, which again is 16 wins, 6 losses, plus 13.6 units for the year. So the first one we're going to be talking about. And now looking at, before we get into the 3 plays that we have on the main card, I wanted to remind everybody that I will be at this event. Got my tickets here, going with my wife, really excited for it. We got some great tickets, lower level. Definitely will be doing some, last time when I was in the casinos, wanted to do more live streaming and more on the casino floor and that kind of thing. Did a little bit more drinking than we wanted to there, so did not do as many videos and that kind of thing we wanted to do. So this time around, hopefully with my wife, I'm a little more tamer and we'll be able to do some more videos. So definitely we'll be doing some videos from the actual event. We got some great seats, like I'm saying. So here they are, really excited for it. Always a great time going to the events, and excited for this weekend to be in Atlantic City. Enjoy the amenities there as well as the fights. So now that we talked about that, first fight that I want to talk about that I think that, where there's some value in. Now, I first one that I looked at is David Branch versus Thiago Santos. Now, this fight to me is a fight that, I have been on the hype train for Thiago Santos. I really feel like his striking, the way that he fights, he's very strong on the takedown defense, and his stand-up game is tremendous. I mean, he has won 4 straight, all of them by TKO. So he's got the strength and the takedown defense. I really like that about him. And I have been betting him, not a very large amount, but I've been betting him because it just feels like he's that come-up guy that's really ready to explode in the UFC. He's got the build. He's got the momentum behind him. He's got solid kicks, great combinations, and really like the way that he fights. Really like the aggressive style that he fights. And so he's been a guy that I've been watching. Now, David Branch on the other side of it has had a lot of success in the World Series of Fighting. He's done well there, and that's really been where he's, has had his success. He's a BJJ black belt, so he wants to bring this fight to the ground, but, he has really fallen in love with the striking. So really with the odds right here, Thiago Santos is minus 150 and David Branch is plus 150. So that's kind of where they are as in the odds. David Branch is 21-4. Thiago Santos is 17-5. And looking at, since David Branch has come into the UFC, he is 1-1. And, you know, he had a split decision victory, and then he had a loss against Luke Rockhold. And, you know, looking at those fights, you know, I went back and I looked, you know, at the fights. And the thing that, for me, is that David Branch, at least my opinion, is that he gasses. And he does have some nice pressure. He wants to get the fight to the ground, and he did some damage a little bit with Luke in that first fight. In that first round, he was able to do some damage and really be able to put some pressure on Luke Rockhold. Although quickly, he did not, you know, in that second round, Luke turned things around, was able to get the choke out, finish him in that fight. But I think that David Branch, it almost reminds me of a lot of the guys that have a lot of success in the lower leagues, lower organizations. And at this point, they want to push them right into fighting some of these top guys. And they're not ready for that. And, you know, I don't want to say Justin Gaethje is an example of that, because he is a great fighter. But it's sometimes the tactics that work in other organizations where you're fighting some of the middle of the road guys. You know, there's some definitely talent in those organizations, but now you're being pushed up against some of the best fighters in the world. And that, to me, starts to worry me when a guy can't come out the gates flying and come out and dominate. When they do struggle, it just shows that they are overwhelmed with the talent here. So David Branch in this side of it, you know, I just don't see the full-on talent from him. I think he definitely, of course, he is a well-rounded mixed martial artist. And any of these guys, if you are in a UFC, if you're in the UFC organization, you are talented at some level. You're not a garbage fighter, as much as we call these guys garbage fighters, or this guy isn't as good as this guy. All of them are great. But David Branch here, this is my half a unit play, and I just feel like Thiago Santos is on his way up. I mean, he is really on his way up, and I think a lot of this fight, he's going to be able to, I think it's going to be a tighter fight. I think they're going to be, you know, bringing it in tight. But this fight here, I really feel like the clinch game of Santos is going to be great. I think he's going to be able to put pressure on Branch, and I think Branch is going to, I think early in that first round, I really believe that's where Branch could find success. That's his only way of trying to win that first round and force Santos to really win those next two rounds or finish the fight. But if he comes out early, Santos, and he's able to win that first round or put pressure and put damage on Branch, I think it's completely downhill from there. I really don't see much upside to Branch unless he's going to be able to get this to the ground right away and try to manipulate a movement on the ground and try to work him from there. I more see Santos doing a lot of damage. He's 70% takedown defense. I think he's going to have, you know, Branch going to have a lot of trouble trying to get him to the ground. I see Santos winning this either late with a late stoppage or decision victory. So I'm going to put half a unit on Thiago Santos at -150. And that'll be one of my three plays for the evening. The other two that I have here now is the co-main event of the evening, and that's going to be between Frankie Edgar and Cub Swanson. Now, in this fight here, you got Frankie Edgar, who is it's been roughly where it's been, -180, up to -220 I've seen it at. So Frankie Edgar is -180 is where I'm placing my money, and Cub Swanson is +190. So you're seeing where the money is going, at least, or where the odds makers we are placing this. Frankie Edgar is 22-6, and Cub Swanson is 25-8. This is a rematch of a fight from 2014, where basically in that fight, and I rewatched it, Frankie Edgar dominated that fight. It was a late chokeout for Frankie, late submission in the 5th round with like a few seconds left. He was able to finish off Cub Swanson. But in that fight, he took down Cub 6, 7, 8 times in that fight. I mean, I think it was about 7 times. They took him down. He was able to just wear him down. It's not like Cub Swanson is, you know, some rookie on the ground. He's definitely got, you know, the credentials to do well on the ground. But everybody knows the way that Frankie is able to get you to the ground, his wrestling, his ground and pound. He's able to wear you down. And that, to me, is a huge blueprint for the way that Cub Swanson has not been able to be successful on the ground. And through his career, he's led up takedowns. He's good on the ground. He's got power when he stands up for Cub. And if somebody wants to stand and bang with him, which I don't believe Frankie's going to do that, especially coming off of a knockout loss to Brian Ortega, and both of these men have lost to Brian Ortega. But I just see that, Frankie is going to be able to work the takedowns. He's going to be able to continually push that. And I think if he does the same thing that he did, Cub is saying, oh, I've learned from, I know what Frankie likes. Everybody knows what Frankie likes. And he likes to take you to the ground, wrestle you, get in the clinch, make it dirty, and really wear you out. And I don't think that Frankie, after dealing with a knockout loss, his first of his career, he's going to stand and want to trade with Cub. He's going to have to at points. That's without a doubt he's going to have to do that. But I do believe that Frankie Edgar will continually push this fight. It's a 3-round fight here. Frankie is one of the few that are very used to 5-round fights, 5-round main events, 5-round title fights. So this is a different story. If Frankie, can push the fight early and not have to, take a round off, not even take a round off, but start slow, and that's where something that Cub could take advantage of and find his way. It's kind of the same thing that I said before about the other fight, about, Thiago Santos, who obviously Thiago Santos is not used to 5-round fights, but if he does not pressure in that first round and falls behind, that's where there could be issues. But here is my 1-unit play, and I really believe that Frankie Edgar in this position is going to be able to get it done. He's going to be able to get back on track. I don't find him, it's going to be troublesome for him, of course. I think coming back and having that on his mind of he just got knocked out. But Cub Swanson, who is a guy that was a free agent not long ago, who was negotiating with other organizations, and it's not like he wants to leave, but he was on the cusp of not being signed. And to me, that again is another sign that says, you know what, not only is this guy, he's got twins on the way, he's got, I think he has a daughter, right now, so he's got a lot on his plate. And I feel Frankie right now is very, very focused in this fight. He's at home. He's going to have that home crowd, which I'm excited to, hear those "Go Frankie, go" chants as they always normally have for him. He hasn't fought in New Jersey in about 10, 11 years. So this is a huge fight for him, and he is very determined. And there's a possibility of him getting right back in the title picture. The winner of this fight does have the opportunity to fight Max Holloway or Brian Ortega. So there is great opportunity here after him jumping up, Frankie Edgar jumping up and taking on Brian Ortega, and now having the opportunity to come right back and either fight Brian Ortega or fight Max Holloway. So I like the opportunity here. I'm going to put 1 unit on Frankie Edgar, and I really feel the opportunities here for him to get right back in the title picture. Everyone gave him a lot of respect. Why did he, why take on, why take on other opportunities where Frankie Edgar, is easily in the title picture. So this is for him. I think he gets back on track here. I think it's a tough fight for him, but I really see it being more of a one-sided decision victory, just completely out-grappling, out-working Cub Swanson, and I see a decision victory for Frankie Edgar. So that's going to be my 1 unit play. Now for the one that we all been waiting for. The best bet play of the evening is going to be the main event of the evening. And it's going to be between Kevin Lee and Edson Barboza. Now this fight, first looking at it, this fight to me, you've got 2 guys here. You got Kevin Lee, who is 16-3. You got Edson Barboza, who's 19-5. And, Kevin Lee, the odds is -130 for Kevin Lee and +120 for Edson Barboza. So, both of these guys, high level mixed martial artists, some of the best. I got to give Kevin Lee, who's 25, a surging star within the UFC. You got Edson Barboza, who's got probably the best kicks within the UFC, the fastest kicks within the UFC. I mean, he has been sensational when it comes to that. He had won 3 straight before losing a very tough fight to Khabib, and that was a fight where people started to say, is this the way to win? Is this the way that you beat Edson Barboza? And Barboza is no slouch on the ground either. He's got credentials, so he's a well-rounded fighter. It's just everyone knows him for the spinning, spinning kick that he had, the highlight reel kicks, and all these other things that he's got going on. That's where people really look at. And he's without a doubt, has the ability to just work the leg kicks, work the body kicks, soften you up, work combinations from the outside. He has been able to do that within his career. And again, he's beaten some good fighters. Once he lost to Khabib, people started to question that. Now, Kevin Lee on the other side of it, Kevin Lee had won 5 straight, and really 5 great fights. Had some finishes in there, submission finishes in there. I mean, Kevin Lee really, has shown his ability. Then he went up against Ferguson and he ended up losing. He had opportunities in that fight to beat Ferguson, ended up losing. That was, a situation where, is Kevin Lee really that good? That was the question on him. They're saying he's beaten some solid opponents, but is he that good? Is he as good as, people believe that he is? He's a young talent, so he continues to evolve, he continues to grow, but where is he now? So when I was looking back at their fights and really looking at everything as well, I think the big thing to me is, the fact with Kevin Lee, in that fight against Ferguson, he had opportunities to win, and I didn't like, going back, it really bothered me in the fact that, he had an opportunity. He had 3, it was a very short fight. He had, 3, it was a third round that Ferguson finished Kevin Lee, but there was like 3 or 4 takedowns that Kevin Lee early was working the takedowns, bull rushing him. There was really nothing that Ferguson could do. He was picking up Ferguson, slamming him. He had a lot of great moments, maybe not highlight reel, but moments in those fights for him to put the finish on, or at least continue to win rounds. And he just kind of gassed out. He just looked like he had nothing in that third round left. And a lot of the speculation came out that he had a staph infection, which it sounds like that was true. It was real, and even more stories were coming out about that, and more reports. And that could be a reason why he was gassed. He slowed down. He did not have the ability to continually push for 5 rounds in a grueling match on the ground, on the feet, all these other things. That could be a reason why he did not finish Ferguson in certain spots. But obviously Ferguson is one of the best mixed martial artists in the world, so obviously it could be just the fact that Ferguson just outfought him and won the fight. Edson Barboza, you look at this guy, great stand-up, amazing stand-up, but if he's taken to the ground. Now the path to victory here for me is I do see a path to victory, for Edson Barboza here, with Edson Barboza working from outside, able to have good takedown defense, and just work Kevin Lee from the outside with someone who's not as a completely proven, full-out proven mixed martial artist in Kevin Lee. That's where people are starting to, and I am hearing a lot of, analysts and everyone who was on Barboza. To me, Kevin Lee has a great opportunity if he can just keep it tight. Create 0 space and keep it tight. Now, the thing for me is I think Kevin Lee's stand-up game is very underrated. I think it's very underrated. From what I've seen, he's got great ability to, and he prides himself on that. He really prides himself on being a well-rounded mixed martial artist, where certain guys, hey, that's why he's been knocking Khabib and saying that, Khabib is not a full, well-rounded mixed martial artist. That's why, I can finish him, and that's a whole nother conversation. But he has that ability to be well-rounded, and I think his solid combinations, he's got great cage movement, and I think mixing with cage movement and how quick he is, his first step when he goes for the takedowns is quick. And without a doubt, Edson Barboza has quick legs as well. But great cage movement from Kevin Lee, and the fact that he's able to grind it out. I think he's able, if he's able to get in tight and grind it out and get him to the ground, I don't really see him having a problem taking down Edson Barboza. I think he's going to take down Barboza. I think he's going to do exactly what he was doing to Ferguson. But here, I think he's going to be 100%. I think he's going to feel fantastic. I think he's going to feel great for the 5 rounds if it goes that far. And Barboza, The only thing that he's really got going for him, in my opinion, is he's got to work and pepper Lee from the outside. But I think Lee's cage movement is the reason that's going to give him the victory. I think that's going to be a big part of it, that he's not going to be able to have a stationary target in front of him. I think that that's going to be very, very tough for Barboza. And he's, Barboza's beaten some good fighters. A couple of them have been stand-up fighters where they want to stand up. He's beaten, Anthony Pettis. Great stand-up guy. If he's able to have a kickboxing match, Barboza is a scary, scary guy. But that's not where Kevin Lee's going to be standing. He's not going to be there. He's going to be working it around. I think Kevin Lee's cardio is actually really good. I just think that in that fight against Ferguson, he was not 100%. He came out guns blazing because he knew he could not finish the fight. He could not go 5 rounds. He would not go 5 rounds. He's not healthy enough to go 5 rounds. I think here it sounds like, from the tone and his self-belief that he has in this fight, I really feel good about Kevin Lee winning this fight. I just think that he's going to be able to work the takedowns, continually push the fight. Whether it goes to 5 rounds is very tough to say in a fight like this, but I think that Kevin Lee, if it goes decision, wins it. But I really feel like Kevin Lee gets this victory. I'm putting 2 units on Kevin Lee at -130. I just really feel overall his submission game and what he's able to do on the ground is really going to push this fight for him and really going to make Edson Barboza, in the back of his mind, think about the takedowns and everything that he had to deal with Khabib. And I think that's going to be very tough for him to get past after the fact that what he knows, that Kevin Lee is able to continually manipulate the takedowns, work body movement on the ground, and could get the finish. So that's two units on Kevin Lee. Our best bet, again, right now, up to this point this year, we are 16 wins, 6 losses, plus 13.6 units for the year. So not doing too bad. So that is my most confident play, the one I suggest the Fight Club to bet on. It's all up to you guys if you want to, but that is my play. And again, our other plays, half a unit on Thiago Santos. We have 1 unit on Frankie Edgar, and we have 2 units, our best bet play, Kevin Lee, 2 units at -130. Those are the plays, and these are the tickets. So we'll see how we do here. So that is the prediction show for Fight Night 128. And, what we'll be doing, I will be posting tomorrow the Let's Chat discussion area, just an area for us to talk during the fight. So let me know what you guys have, what your picks are. Are you guys going to be betting? Are you guys going to be taking my best bet? I know some of you guys didn't, and you guys fessed up to it, so I like the honesty there. But, let me know what you guys think, if you're going to be taking some of these plays, not taking some of these plays. I'm actually, really looking at, even parlaying possibly Frankie and Kevin Lee, see how that goes as well. But we will get into our hero parlay tomorrow on the Let's Chat discussion thread. So I will be posting that video tomorrow sometime, before the weigh-ins. So don't forget to subscribe, like, kick the bell icon, get involved with Fight Club TV, and I will see you next time. I will see you tomorrow. And this is Mr. UFC Vegas, Fight Club TV.